Welcome and thank you for joining us for a discussion on safer guides today. Before we get started, we just need to let you know that the information contained in this presentation is for general information purposes only and does not attempt to provide medical, mental health, or any other type of healthcare service. The presentation is not intended to be an alternative to medical treatment, and the content of this webinar may not apply directly to specific circumstances. The information is provided by UK Healthcare's Kentucky Regional Extension Center. And while we endeavor to keep the information up to date and correct, we make no representations or warranties of any kind, express or implied, about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, or suitability with respect to content. The Kentucky Regional Extension Center offers a variety of service lines to meet both your inpatient and outpatient needs. This is a list of services that we offer, and we continue to expand those services. So please reach out to us if you have any questions regarding any of the services, and we're always happy to assist and here to serve as your trusted advisor. Today's presenters are myself, Alicia Anderson, and my colleague, Van Strakeford. And then to get started here today, we want to provide a brief overview of SAFER guides. So SAFER is going to stand for Safety Assurance Factors for EHR Resilience. The SAFER guides are a set of self-assessment tools that help healthcare organizations evaluate their EHR safety practices, identify potential risks, and helps mitigate those risks. So the SAFER guides are completed internally within your organization, and they're not going to replace your annual required SRA, which is typically completed by an external vendor, and they're really more complementary to that. So you're getting both that internal and external review of your systems. And with SAFER guides, there are 3 groups with a total of 9 guides available. The 3 groups are going to include your foundational, infrastructure, and clinical process guides. And then the guide that we're going to be focusing on today is the high priority practices, which is found under those foundational guides. Your high priority practices guide is the guide that's going to be required for you to attest yes to for program year 2024. To find the guides, you can visit www.healthit.gov at the link above. And then you have the ability to download all 9 guides from here. And again, you're going to want to focus starting with that high priority practices. So the purpose of your high priority practices is to help identify your high risk and high priority recommended safety practices. And this is going to help optimize the safe use of your EHR. When you review this guide, you're going to see that there's 3 domains, and those 3 domains are going to include Safe Health IT, using Health IT safely, and monitoring safety. It's recommended that you complete these guides using a multidisciplinary team approach. So this team might look and feel a little bit different for each practice, but it's really important to have input from both your administration and IT teams, as well as any other departments that are applicable within your practice. When you complete this guide, there's going to be 2 interactive sections for you to fill out. One is going to be a checklist, and one is going to be a practice worksheet. And then it's important to note that in 2024, you must report yes to completing the SAFER guides in order to be scored for promoting interoperability. The SAFER guides are not going to add points to the category. Instead, it's a must-pass measure, which means you must complete it to receive any points at all for the category. And there's no current requirement that you must have all the pieces from the domains in place or implemented. You're really just looking for what you might be missing or what can be improved on. So not having something implemented does not mean that the guide is not complete, and you'll still attest yes as long as you've completed the entire guide. And then we also want to note that SAFER guides are not intended to be used for any legal or compliance purposes, and they do not guarantee HIPAA compliance. Next, Vance is going to help us walk through the high priority practices guides.
Thanks, Alicia. So as we're looking at the SAFER guides for the high priority, here is the high priority checklist that you will see. And this gives a screenshot of what it's going to look like. And it gives some examples of the recommended practices for each topic that's associated with the specific domain. And the domain is actually the recommended practice at the top of the column. So this is the recommended practices for domain 1, which is the Safe Health IT. You're going to read 1.1, for example, and then you're going to select that implementation status, which is most appropriate for your organization. So let's look at an example. That's kind of a big, this kind of narrows it in so you can see it better on this slide. So for 1.1, it's data and application configurations are backed up and hardware systems are redundant. So you're going to answer where you're currently at. In this example, the specific organization has selected partially in some areas. There's no certain answer that is right or wrong. You just need to make sure that you answer whether it's not implemented or fully in all areas. Either one of these 3 answers would be sufficient. And then after the checklist, you're going to have the worksheet. And it's really, this gives the example, some guidance on why these safety activities are needed. It gives some explanation to that, how what you might put in for your notes about your self-assessment, any follow-up actions that you're going to plan on doing, and then the name of the person that's going to be responsible for that action that you're planning. So it just kind of gives you that example and guidance as you start to begin to fill out your own worksheet. So this is a really good resource when you go to that link that Alicia provided just a few moments ago on a couple of slides prior to this one. And at the top, you're also going to see that implementation status drop down that you can choose to on the worksheet. So again, this kind of gives the example of one. It fills in the rationale of what this organization thought of their current status, and then the suggested sources of input from why they chose this answer, and then what they're probably going to do for improvement for useful practices and scenarios. So that'll provide some really good guidance as you begin this journey. If you've not already started on this for this year, so please use that resource and that link as you begin to fill out the high priority checklist and worksheets. So as you're thinking about, wrapping up here, you want to make sure that you have to select yes, like Alicia said, for 2024 for the safer guides. It's either yes or no. A no will negate any score potential for you for the PI category. So you must select yes, that you have completed your safer guide. And that can be that you're not, you select no, that you've not implemented anything at that point. But just as long as you complete it, you can get credit for this attestation. Then after you complete the worksheet and the checklist for that high priority guide, you want to make sure that you save it in your 2024 MIPS audit files, so that if you are ever audited, that you can come back to that and provide the proof that you have completed this. You don't have to submit the actual worksheet or checklist into your MIPS portal when you do your submission at the end of the year, or beginning of the year, I should say. You don't have to submit it, but you do need to save it in case you're audited and you have that verification of proof to CMS. Also, there's no time frame when you have to do this within, like the first quarter or anything like that. You just have to make sure you do it within the performance period. So within 2024, at any point, this has to be completed. That is the only guideline and requirement. So that's it for the safer guides, for the high priority practices guide. I hope this was informational. If you still have questions and you need some assistance, we're more than glad to help you with that. Please contact us. You can see all of our contact information here on this slide. You can reach us at our Facebook page, our Twitter account, or X, I should say, our LinkedIn, and then of course our main phone line, our website, and our email address too. You can connect to us, or if you know your advisor's contact, please reach out to us, and we're more than happy to assist you guys as you complete this for this year. We thank you for your time. Have a great day.